I've been on a journey since morning. However, I believe that it's an opportunity for us to connect and collaborate. Let's feel free to learn. Let's be open, and let's give all the necessary attention to what will be taught in this next 3 weeks. And I believe that at the end of the whole process, we are coming out better in our respective field of endeavor. So I want to welcome you, and I want to say happy coding, and then have a nice time learning. God bless you. Yes, over to you, Doc.
To me?
Okay, yeah. So, Prof, thanks so much. I know you could not hear some of the things he was saying, but generally, Prof is with FET. We've used our platform, he's provided all these resources for us to use. Then Neuromatch Academy is also supporting us with their tutorial materials. And then there is also Trend Africa and Imbizo. So I'm handing over to Dr. Ibeachu. She's going to take us through this first session. So, Doc, over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you're watching from. I welcome all of you to Python for Computational Neuroscience, a 3-week intensive weekend program. I'm Dr. Ibeachu Chinagorom from the University of Port Harcourt. I'm an associate professor there. So over the three Saturdays coming, between 15th, 22nd, and 29th, we'll be working on, doing hands-on training on Python. So the idea is to bring into for those of you that have interest in computational neuroscience, because Dr. Peter has told me to just give a brief history of my encounter with computational neuroscience. I came across computational neuroscience for the first time. That was in 2022 through Neuromatch Academy. I joined computational neuroscience. I must tell you the truth, it was a very terrible thing I did because I didn't have any knowledge of Python. So it was difficult for me to comprehend. I never I did not Sorry, I got disconnected. Hello? Hello,
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you now.
So it was around 2023. I saw an advert about Imbizo Computational Neuroscience. I didn't want to apply. So I overlooked that advert. Not until the deadline, I have to apply just for applying state, because ordinarily I don't have a knowledge of Python. But luckily for me, I was selected for that program. And that was how my journey of computational neuroscience, began. I must tell you, it's a very fascinating field. It's a field that combines mathematical knowledge, it combines neuroscience, it combines physics and programming to understand how the brain works. Ordinarily, we've been looking at go to the lab, We use microscope to look at the brain. Then also do experiment to look at the brain. But this one is like, we are trying to use equation, use algorithm and simulation to understand how the brain receives and processes information. So it's a field that you want to come into. Of course, some of you that registered, you have interest in computational neuroscience. That's the reason you're here. So, but before you understand this computational neuroscience, that prerequisite, which is this Python knowledge, is essential, very essential in understanding of computational neuroscience. And most times I've seen that a lot of persons have complained to me, my students, they applied to Ibeachu, they were not selected, they applied to other computational neuroscience summer schools, like Trend, they were not selected. Ordinarily, they will tell you in that form that, no, just tell us. It doesn't matter if you have prior knowledge of Python or not, it's not going to, jeopardize the selection. But I tell you, it does. So all that is just like, is an elimination criteria to eliminate you. So it is good you have this basic knowledge of computational Python, because without programming language, you cannot effectively work in computational field. So today we have distinguished, in our midst, translated to us like Professor Akinola, Dr. Peter, and myself. So we have come together to see how we can, bridge this gap so that people can, be selected when they make an application for computation and also work effectively, okay, applying data science, okay? So today I'm the one moderating actually this session, and we have Dr. Peter that will take us on this session today. Dr. Peter has been working at the intersection of machine learning and neuroscience, and he has taught so many persons globally because he facilitated for Neuromatch. I think at this point, I have to hand over to Dr. Peter. Dr. Peter, over to you, sir. Hello, Dr. Peter.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ibe. We needed so much. By the way, we are broadcasting live on YouTube. We've sent emails to all of us. If for any reason you are kicked out of the Zoom and you're unable to rejoin, you can take advantage of the live stream on YouTube. So today's session is going to be hands-on, okay? But first, let's do a bit of housekeeping. The two very key, issues that I would like to mention. One is that learn to be helpful. There are different categories of learners here. There are some that have never written a line of code before, up to some that have experience in programming. The idea behind having a community of learners is so that we can encourage peer learning and social learning. It's always a robust way of improving your competency when you are able to help others to unlock the challenges that they have towards trying to solve real life problems. So please be helpful. Secondly, make sure you are muted when you join so that we won't have so much of interference. All right, enough of serious business. Let's talk about why we are here. So we are here, like Dr. Ibe mentioned, to try to cover the gap between people who have knowledge of neuroscience but do not have programming skills. Before you talk about computational neuroscience, of course, you should know that there's machine learning and there's deep learning. And a lot of people are thrown away when they hear such terminology. So our goal is to, within the next 3 weeks, to demystify the idea around programming, at least so that between now and the end of the program, you have some basic knowledge of Python, so that whether you're applying for grad school as a STEM, student, or you are transitioning to the industry, then you're able to, do 1 or 2 lines of Python coding. One thing we are not going to do in the next 3 weeks is to claim to teach you the whole of Python. That's not going to be possible. Another thing that we cannot do is to teach you enough Python for you to say you are very comfortable. But we can try as much as possible to expose you to computational techniques that will make neuroscience easier for every one of us. So today we are using custom-made, slides, and also hands-on Google Colab notebook. Next weekend, we'll be using Neuromatch material. More of that towards the end of today's session. All right, so let me just take off this stop sharing. Can you see my screen, everyone?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
great. So this day one should read, you should read week 1. And it's an introduction to Python fundamentals. Once you know the fundamentals, you are good to go. The challenge I discovered is that a lot of people want to learn so much within a short time. No, you need to be patient with yourself. Okay, so what do we have regarding neuroscience? None of these definitions are comprehensive, but they are just high-level definitions that will help you, have a general view of what neuroscience is about. So in simple terms, it's the study of the nervous system. So you need to know enough of biology if you want to succeed in the field of neuroscience. However, it's not just biology, it's also psychology, psychiatry, physics, it's maths. A lot of fields are, involved when we transition to computational neuroscience. But the point of neuroscience is just the scientific study of the nervous system. And a lot of things are integrated into it. You can look at the functions of the nervous system. You can look at the structure. You can look at the chemistry of it and even the biology of it, sometimes the physiology and all of that. So it's just the study of the nervous system. That's what neuroscience is generally about. And I'm glad that when we were filling the forms, we asked the question about the experience that you have in neuroscience. And we're pretty satisfied that a lot of us are from fields that are adjacent to neuroscience, such as anatomy, medicine, and all of that. So it's going to be an interesting time. And make sure you enjoy yourself, okay? Get a notepad, or since this session is going to be recorded, you're going to hear 1 or 2 things that you've not thought about before, and then you're really going to get your hands really dirty. All right. So, among the of the is
Hello, sir. We can no longer hear you, sir. I think it's the same for everyone.
picked.
Dr. Peter, we can't hear you. Dr. Peter, are you there?
Can you hear
Your
me?
voice is still
Someone is saying you
breaking.
can't hear me. Can you still hear me? Hello?
We can hear you. You are back. You are
Hello?
back now. You are back. You are
Hello?
back online now.
You're back
Can
online
you
now.
hear me?
You're back online now.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Prof. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Okay, can you still see my screen? How about my screen? How about my screen?
No.
My screen is off.
No, we
screen
cannot
is
see your screen.
Okay, good. So let me go back and share. We'll have some of these challenges, in Africa, but we'll be fine at the end of the day. So I don't know when I went off, But I guess I was talking about goals of neuroscience. If that was the case, then we are in line. I didn't know I wasn't talking to us. Can you still hear my voice? Can you hear me? Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, we can,
Can you hear me?
you.
Can you see my
We can also see your screen now.
Good. So you can read the goals of neuroscience there. But the most important thing is look at the key question, and I want you to think about it. And if you have any thoughts in your mind, it would be nice for you to share those thoughts. Listen to this. How do billions of neurons work together to create thought, feelings, and actions? If you've never done neuroscience before, it's a good question to ask. Humans are very dynamic, and these billions are in the tens of billions. So that's a very interesting question for us to unravel. What about the branches of neuroscience? Of course, there are several branches. However, we've tried to distill it into three major, branches. First, at the molecular level, at the cellular level, and at the systemic level. At that last level of the system, we want to explain behavior. At the cellular level, we are looking at individual neurons. And at the molecular level, we're talking about things around proteins, genes, and all of that. And you can see the other aspects which we have also mentioned while we're looking at the previous slides. It's just a different way of talking about neuroscience. So beyond neuroscience, we now have computational neuroscience. Why computational? And this was what Dr. Chinagorom was telling us at the beginning. For those of you that joined early, she made us to realize the fact that there's mathematics and computation involved in the way the nervous system processes information today. Gone are the days when you know so much, whereby we can take advantage of this, that computation avails us. So why then do we use this now? Because that's not the only approach. There's also experimental neuroscience. But if we go this route, then we are going to enjoy handling high dimensional data. For those of you who don't have much knowledge of the structure of data, maybe I should use this as an example. When you write a text and you check the memory of your text, you discover that sometimes they are as small as a kilobyte. When you transition to images, it becomes larger. And then when you now have videos, this should really resonate with every one of us. If you have a recording of videos, you know you would have used so much of gigabytes. But when we now have it in several dimensions, then it is necessary for us to involve the use of computer. I think that example should give us an insight into why learning computational, techniques, not just for neuroscience, is like a must-have for everyone. Beyond that, we can use computational approaches to build predictive models of the brain. Okay, so we have what we call the brain-computer interface, which is a mechanism whereby people who are unable to use their limbs are able to rely on machines that are placed on their, a skull, so that you can read the thoughts and then, get intervention. I hope, are you still with me? Am I still here?
Yes,
Yeah,
very well.
good. Fantastic. So we can go ahead and talk about the other points: testing of hypotheses, analyzing large-scale recordings, and discover hidden patterns in neural data. So that's why computational approach is relevant. By the way, I need to remind us that we are going to provide you this recording. The most interesting part of all that we are doing, we are approaching it, which is Python programming. But it will not be okay if we don't look at the next slide, where we look at that same idea, but focusing on this last branch, which is machine learning. So typically, when you're applying for computational neuroscience courses, the idea is that within 3 weeks, you cannot learn all of Python, all of machine learning, and all of computational neuroscience. So it gives you an edge when you apply and you already have some level of understanding regarding Python programming and machine learning. So beyond this first iteration of teaching us computational tools, we are still going to have other sessions based on the responses we get from this one. However, I'm focusing on machine learning because for me, I think that for the majority of us who have mathematics for machine learning. Okay, so that's what came to mind, and all of that. Why not let's explore the machine learning, the mathematics behind machine learning? So you can respond in the chat. I can't see the chat, but Jeffrey is there, Heritage is there, Prof. Akinola is there too. Check those chats. So why maybe not R, but let's look at general
Please, we can't hear you again.
I'll start using those specific, nomenclatures. But for now, what I want you to know is that there are solutions that people have already provided that you can take use of the solution. So those are libraries in a simple sense. It's like you want to do math, mentally, you pick your calculator and helps you to do that. That's an idea of what libraries are. Beyond that, Python has a large community when it comes to neuroscience. In fact, I tell learners every now and then that there's more help in this community than you can imagine. Okay, I'm saying this even before the era of generative AI. There's so much help in the community, but if you are not there, you will not realize it. Again, like I mentioned, Python, unlike MATLAB, for instance, I'm not by any standard saying MATLAB is not a good tool. I'm just saying that Python is free and open source. And from those who come from, Nigeria and countries like us who really want to leverage that. Okay, so again, it works in all platforms, whether it is Windows or it is Linux or iOS. Python works in all those platforms. Great. At this point, I think I can pause and then stop maybe sharing this screen and ask if there are questions. Any question? One or two. Let me give us 1 or 2 minutes to a few seconds. Any questions? Okay, cool. Yeah. Will you be giving us a roadmap to personal study? Great question. Great question. We are going to share a link later today that will be a very good roadmap for personal study. You will love it. All right. Let me go back to my screen. How do we go? Yeah, let me go back to my screen. And let me be sure that I'm sharing the right screen. Can you see my screen again? Can
Yes.
you see my screen? Okay.
Yes, you can.
Welcome. Yeah, welcome to Python. Python is not an animal, okay? And you can read that from several, sources. Today is not the time to tell you, go to Free Code Camp, go to Coursera and all of that. We'll have time for that. But what I can tell you is that there's enough resources there. We are not going to replicate those sources right now. What we want to do is to tell you that to write Python, you need an environment. Just like you need a Microsoft document or a Google document to write a letter, and then maybe you need a Google Sheet to do Excel spreadsheets, and so on. So we need an environment to write Python. We need an environment. Okay, but there are different kinds of environments that we could use. We could use environments that are, remote on our system. They are just environments that we cannot share with others real time. So we have software such as Visual Studio Code. We have software such as Sublime Text. In fact, there are even some that are known as integrated development environment. But we're not going to use all of that. Why are we not going to use all of that? Because that's going to save us the time that it takes for you to download the software.
Sir?
Yeah?
I think your screen is on Science Match. I don't know if you are meaning to maybe share the presentation.
Oh, thank you very much. So let me stop. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's on Science Match. So that already shows you that I'm one of them. Sorry, please. I wanted to share, and I wanted to share my entire screen. Yes, that's what I wanted to share. So let me go to entire screen, and then let me go to the slides. I'm sharing the presentation now. Am I right?
Yes, very well.
Good. Good. So I was saying that we don't need to install any software, because if we do that, we might run into problems with version. We are going to use cloud-based, platform. Some people argue that you need to be connected to the internet, and they think that that's the downside of using the cloud-based platform. And I argue that if you want to do collaborative work, then you must be connected to the internet. So for us, we are using a platform known as Google Colab. So the first thing that we want to do right now is to show us how we can get Google Colab started, okay? And when we have done that, we can now begin to learn data types and all of that. So you need to really demonstrate this. So go on your browser. In my own case, I'm going to use Google Chrome. And I'm not going to be in a hurry to doing this because we have a chunk of time today. Okay, lots of time. So you open a new tab and you want to search for Google Colab. Okay. Yours might not be the search. I've used this over and over again. That's why you see it come up first. So don't forget to open a new window in Google Colab and then you can double click on it. Because this session is recorded level where I'm at. But if a few people, maybe 2 or 3 random people can say, yes, I'm there, and I'll Keep moving.
Yes, I'm there.
Okay. So if you are there, if you are moving, great, great, great.
I'm there. I'm there too.
My daughter.
Wonderful thing about Jupyter Notebook and Google Colab is that you not only can use it for your code, you can also use it for text, you can use it for publication, I can use it for a lot. But that's not what we are doing now. What we are doing now is we actually want to code Python so that we can use it in coming weeks. So it says that it requires no setup and it provides free access to computing resources, including graphic processing units and tensor processing unit. And wait, read this. Colab is especially well suited to
Dr. Peter, please, we
learning.
can't see your screen.
Okay, my screen is gone again. Okay, so I think what normally happens is that when people join, because my internet is not too strong, people have joined from different parts of the world, I trip off. So thank you for always telling me everything that we are saying is important for you to see. So I'm going to go back and discuss this again. If you can see my screen now, let me know. Thank you so much for pointing that out to me. We'll have occasions when that will happen. Can I
Yes,
go on?
the screen is off.
Yes, we can see now.
Yeah,
we
brilliant.
can see. Please, you can go ahead.
Yes. So I said that Google Colab is, hosted by, is a hosted Jupyter Notebook. And I was saying Jupyter is the amalgamation of Julia, Python, and R, 3 languages. And apart from that, you don't need setups. You don't need to download and install. Beyond that, you have free access to very expensive resources like graphic processing unit and tensor processing unit. So I was going to say that we should read this quietly and see that this platform is a must use. Colab is especially suited to machine learning, data science, and education. So you agree with me that moving forward, this is the platform to use. Now, if you are new to Google Colab, you click on New Notebook. If you aren't new to Google Colab, you open your notebook. So I take it that we are new to Colab. But even if you are not new to Colab, it's like purchasing a new notebook, literally a notebook where you can write both text and code. The beautiful thing about Colab is you can write both text and code. So beyond that, as we open their Colab, if I can get 5-10 people who have opened their Colab, I'll be so glad. Nobody yet.
I have.
I've
1,
opened.
2.
Yes, we have so many people who have opened it.
Brilliant, brilliant.
Yeah.
Now, if you are opening it for
Yes.
the first time, this number should be 0. Okay.
Yes.
So mine is 42 because I've opened it several times. The next thing I want you to see is this IPYNB. Okay, is IPython notebook. Is an integrated environment of Python and is also a notebook. So what I want you to do is this untitled 0, you can rename it. You can rename that untitled 0 and maybe you call it notebook 1 or note 1. Let's call it for today's demonstration, let's call it note 1. Okay. So
okay. Yeah, done.
Note 1. This is our first note. Good. One thing you must agree with me is that this looks like a typical Google document. Okay, looks like it. Looks like file, edit, view, insert, runtime, and all of that. But If you now come to this cell, we call them cells. That's where you write your code. And like we said at the beginning, we said it's just easy to read and to write. So we are going to write our first line of code. And that line will be, we want Python to say hello to the world, or to say hi to the world. We want Python to greet the world. Now the syntax, which is the, the grammar. Okay, every language has its own syntax, is grammar. The grammar for speaking out or printing out is just the word print. So if I say print hi, okay, just watch. Can you see my screen, everyone?
Yes.
Hello? If I say print
Yes,
hi,
very well.
Yes.
Very well. Very
and I
well.
want to run this line of code, I will just press this play button. When you press that play button, it will first connect to the internet and start off the notebook, okay? Because it's automatically saved into your Google Drive. You don't need to be, bothered about whether it will be lost in, in transition. No, in transit. So if you can leave your home, get to a cafe, and then you can still see your code and continue coding. This might take me some time. It's not supposed to take me that much time because I deliberately ensured that there is an error in my code. Python is very unforgiving. If you have done exactly the same thing that I've done, you would have seen this error. But if you have done coding before, you have an idea of where the error is. This brings me to my first important comment. Which will be difficult for you to read as you develop the competence. But I can tell you, no matter how competent you are, we don't want to see errors. So the kind of error we have here is a naming error. What is the name? It doesn't understand this I. But if I now put quotation marks before and after that, word, which we call string in Python, if you run this now, it will produce a result. But I can tell you, no matter how competent you are, we are always not want to see errors. So the kind of error we have here is a naming error. Why is this thing giving me feedback? Understand this I'm getting feedback. Wow. I'm getting feedback. Am I right? Wow. Hello? Hello?
You can proceed.
Hello, sir. Like, we can hear the echo too.
Please go ahead.
It's actually echoing, sir.
We are always not want to see errors. So have you been able to run that first line of code?
Not exactly.
Yes.
Sir.
Yes,
Yes,
because
yes,
it is possible that you might have used capital P here. If you use capital P there, you are going to get an error. That's one. Again, even if you use the small p and you leave a space between the print and the parentheses, it's not going to give you an error. So you must be very deliberate in writing the lines of code. So let's write a second one. Let's allow Python to say, hello to the world. So here I'm writing Python saying hello world. Do you think this one will run? Will this run? Does this satisfy the requirements for it to run?
Oh. How did you get to the second one?
Yes.
No. So what you do when you want to get,
Yes, sir.
so I can cancel this. If you want to go to the next one, you either press code here, it will give you a new line. That's one way, and you can delete that line. Or you over on this, baseline, and then you see text and code. If you click on code, it will create a new cell. And I'm now saying just type there print without space brackets You could use a single quote or a double quote, but just make sure that the quotes are consistent. You cannot use one, quote here and use double quote in the other. So I was saying to us that before we even run this line of code, let's ask ourselves, is it going to run? What are the normal mistakes that we expect? If you were using capital P here, that should be a problem. If you left space between the T and the bracket, that should be a problem. So if I run this and you see hello world, I want to say congratulations to you. You've written your first Python code, even though all it has said is hello world. All right. So is that the only thing that Python can do? No. We could ask Python to print quotation mark, my name is Peter. So it does exactly what you put in the parentheses, but ensuring that you use either single quote or double quotes. So I'm going to leave this notebook because I've prepared a special notebook for all of us, which notebook at the end of the day, we are going to send to you if you are having difficulty in implementing the content in the notebook. So welcome again. Okay, we've done 50 minutes. Now we can run, but we will run with care. Okay, so today is 15th of November. We are trying to build computational toolkits. We've done a brief introduction of computational neuroscience. We've talked about why we are going to use Python. I'm glad to say that you started using Google Colab that is recommended. So this note is shared when you are writing some code by yourself, and then we'll be able to move on from there. So what are we saying? We want to really do demonstration. You get better when you actually code. So let's assume that we want to take in details from visitors to our school, say our neuro school, our training, and we want to, ask questions from users. We could say that, yes, let's ask for the name of the user. By the way, the moment you start writing on the left in a cell, the moment maybe what you can do is you can just click on code and move to a new line and there write name. Okay. Once you are able to, write on the left and then in front of what you have written, you put this equal to sign, then this is called the variable. At this point, what we have created here is like a container. It's a variable. Then in front of the variable, you now write values or a value. So I can write in that place, I can write Peter, even though this is not looking too great. So if I write Peter, there are tools whereby you can change all of those caps lock to, small letters. Let me write my name in full. So on the left, you have what we call the variable. On the right, we have the value. This symbol is not saying that the left side is the same as the right side. There is a symbol for that. What this says is that there is a string. So this is called a string. Okay, strings are texts in Python. This is one string because they are separated by the same quotation marks. If I put an extra quotation mark here and I put a comma here and I come here, I will now have two variables, which means that I can turn this to surname. Okay, I'm not doing something too advanced. We don't have so much time, so we need to, take advantage of the time that we have. So if I open a new cell and I say name is equal to, say, Ibe. Name is Ibe. and I run that cell, what you are going to discover is that it's just going to receive that Ibe as the content of name. So you don't get an output. But if you ask it to print for you name, it's going to, go into the memory of, this notebook and search for name. And once it sees name, it will see Ibe, and then it will print out Ibe. So as a simple exercise for us, we are making progress. What you can do for me is create a new cell, write name, say the name is equal to Ibe, and then print name. Then you see Ibe. But if I now, go to the next cell, I hope I'm not too fast. And here you see me write name and surname. It will be good for me to maybe call this first name. Then you wonder, why am I writing first name this way? Yes. So there are conventions. No, there are rules. One rule must not use keywords that are used in Python. More of that later. There are certain words that are restricted. You can't use them in creating a variable name. Secondly, you can only use numbers and letters, combination of numbers and letters. So I could even change this to, instead of surname, I can call this name 1. But it is not right for you to start a variable with a number. And the beautiful thing about Colab is when you are making mistakes, it tells you that there are mistakes here by giving you this squiggly line. So I want to reinvention that we call the underscore method. From using this underscore method, we can see that it's made up of 2 words. Okay, first name. And once you place your cursor there, it tells you that these are variables. Okay. Another thing about this is, notice that I have created 2 variables. The first one is first name. The second one is surname. And I've separated them with the comma, and then added this, symbol, which is equal to sign, which is not an equality, but, a symbol for instantiating a variable, assignment operator. So by virtue of position, first name will be Peter and surname will be Ohue. So if I go down here and I say print surname, can you by any chance get what that output will give me? Okay, I think that should be fairly straightforward. So if I click that, it will give my surname. Okay. Okay. So what if I now ask it to print first underscore surname? I'm trying out something. You saw that it's given me this squiggly line. Why? Because in its memory, it has not seen first underscore surname. So as you type using Colab, there are built-in tools that will help you to quickly see when you are making mistakes. So if I say first name plus surname, let me pause and find out if 1 or 2 people can give us an idea of what to expect. What output do you expect from this code? Print first name plus surname. Am I still here? I've left.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Oh, I'm still here.
Yes, sir.
Yes, somebody says it will give me Peter and my surname in front. I don't really think so. We have a problem. So who can explain what has happened here? Okay, so let's try to help us since most of us are new. Because these are strings, it is not possible for you to just merge. So it takes the first name and then it joins it to the second name. Okay. So what we could do to solve that problem, there are a number of ways we can do that. For instance, we can put a comma here. If we put a comma there, it will separate it. So let me not bother you with the other methods that we could use.
Yes.
So this problem. So I was saying to us that we can actually, get users since we started. If I click on checking the, for you might not have realized it. Using the input, maybe I should go up a bit to remind us of a few input that we have seen so far. Is the print function on the left, ensuring that you begin with a letter or sometimes underscore. And then if it is letters that you are writing, you make sure they are in between quotation marks. And then we have seen how you can do multiple assignments. You can assign more than one, variable, but the variables are going to represent each of the values in the order in which you have presented them. Okay, so we have only seen the print function. Now I want to introduce the input function. So the input function is just that same name, input, with parentheses. So inside that input, we can now put text. Okay, so this is introducing the function. What's the function? Okay, if that is able to, but you notice it by several functions as we continue, but always take note of this bracket. So we can put maybe a placeholder here and say, what is your name, for instance, and then leave some space. Okay. If we like, we can put a bit of space there. So what are we saying? What is happening in this line of code? Everyone, are we on the same page? Am I moving at a comfortable pace, or I need to calm down?
You're a bit fast.
Hello? Should I calm
No,
down?
sir. Slow down
Please,
a bit, sir.
slow down a bit, please.
Let's go on. Are we okay? Yeah.
Not exactly. Yeah.
Okay, they say it's okay. Cool. Wow, that's interesting. I like that.
They should slow down a bit, doctor.
I need to slow down. Yeah. I need to slow down. Yeah, I need to slow down. Yeah. So don't forget how I did this one. This cell is actually a text. You don't need to know that for now. What you need to know for now is that when you want to receive input from users, you use the input function. There are a lot of things happening here. First, you are using the input function, like maybe when you want to register for a program, and then you have a box, that window that pops up, and they ask you for your name. But we want something that will describe what that box is for. That's why we are adding this, question. So if I run this, what will happen is it will ask me the question and it will wait for me to provide a response. So if I say my name is Michael, for instance, and I run that, it will not do anything special except that it's going to write, what is your name? And then tell me what I've written in the box. Can you try that to see the kind of output you are going to get? Create a variable called name, and in front of it, put input. What is your name? And then run that cell. run the cell and see the kind of results that you are going to get. And if you have done that and you have some time on you and you just want to get busy, you can also write age. Okay. You can do input. And then you can say, how old are you? So let's slow down so that everybody will be on the same page. How old are you? Now, the difference between this first variable name and this next variable age is that whereas the name will expect letters, this age will expect numbers. This brings us to Python data types. Python data types. There are 4 primitive Python data types. The primitive data types in Python are 1, string. That is the first one that we saw when we were using text. The second data type is called integers. The third data type is referred to as floats. And the last one is referred to as booleans. You will notice that I've been writing in small letters. It's better to learn, the right, things from start. So we have strings, integers, floats, and booleans. Another thing that I wanted to notice is that when I write a variable, I deliberately leave a space. Just it makes for easy reading. Okay, so it doesn't look too well if you, so we must learn those. Strings are text. So what do you expect when you are asked your age? Of course, you expect a number. Let me demonstrate that so that we can run into an error. When we run into the error, then we'll try to correct ourselves. If I run this line of code, don't forget we have 2 variables now. The first one is name, waiting for an input, which is be the user's name. And then the other one is, if I run this code, run that cell, the name is John, for instance, it will ask me the next question, how old are you? If I say I'm 24, okay, then it says you are 24. There seem to be no problems. Okay, but it's important when we now want to give a response to the user. Say, for instance, we want to give the user, a welcome message. For instance, we could say that it should print quotation marks, welcome, say, name. Now, if we leave it as welcome name, it is just going to print for us welcome name. But if we remove the quotation in this name and create like a space here, you will notice that when I merged the names, what you would have seen was that everything was red. So there's a difference between name, which is under the quotation, and name that we write after the quotation marks. We are entering into something a little bit tricky. However, what we are saying is there's now a need for us to now begin to convert this age so that it will not just be an input that is expecting letters. If it is expecting a number, then we would have done ourselves a lot of good. Let me pause here, go to the general class, and find out a few things from us. Hello, class. So how many data types did we say that we had? How many did we mention?
We have four types, sir.
What are the types?
Strings,
Strings,
booleans,
Booleans,
Integers.
Floats.
and floats.
Fantastic. That's amazing. You would think that what you are learning is still very, very, very elementary. Yeah, go on. Did you say something? Hello, did you say something?
And what's the fourth data type? This was the fourth data type.
Okay, so we have strings. Okay, so these strings are letters. Then we have integers and whole numbers. Okay. Then floats are numbers with decimal points. Okay. Numbers with decimal points. And then lastly, we have booleans. Booleans are just true or false, yes or no. But mind you, we'll still get that when you are using booleans, you need to start this true with capital letter and the other one with small letters. Okay, good. This is enough introduction. Let's now look at in the context of neuroscience. Okay. So let's do a bit of exercise now. Can we identify the variables in this cell? And let's engage in the chat. Or if one or two people can tell us the variables. What's the first variable?
It's a string.
Okay, it's a string. But what's the name of the variable?
Neuron name.
Neuron name.
How do you know that it's a if I remove this, will you still know that it's a string?
Yes, please.
How do you know how did you know that it was a string?
Okay, because there are letters in quotation marks.
Brilliant. So is there a difference between the value in the resting potential and the one in the spike count? Can you explain to us the difference between these two values? Not necessarily that value, but the kind of data that they are. Yeah?
Okay, so the resting potential is a float.
Yeah.
The spike count is an integer.
Exactly. So when you are dealing with whole numbers, you call them integers and you use this function int for integers. So if I go back a bit, just a bit up to what we're looking at previously, if I just go back up here, you will notice that when we came to age, input, how old are you? If we could just put int and then put everything inside a bracket, then what we are doing is that we are helping the user so that when the user writes a number, it will not accept, if it doesn't write a number, it will not accept that value. Take, for instance, if I run this cell now, and it says, what is your name? And I say, John. And it says, how old are you? And I say, Femi, for instance. It's not going to allow me. It's going to throw up an error. What error will you error? And to tell me the line where the error occurred, that there's an error in your code which occurred in line 2. Because technically speaking, this is line 1 and then this is line 2. Okay? Okay, I don't want to show you all those commands in this. I want you to get used to the screen as it is now. So how am I going to correct this? I'm going to correct this by ensuring that when next and I say my name is Peter, for instance, and it says, what's your age? And I say that I'm 72, then it says, okay, there is no problem. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't present any output to me, but it just takes it in and says, yes, I agree that that's good input. So at this level, what we are doing is we are trying to write code that is acceptable We are creating an input and we want the input to be received. Because of that, we have added this int. One more thing, if we want to determine the type of data, the type of variable that we have created, it's possible first to write what we call in Python a comment. Sometimes when you are writing code, you do so much with your code, you need to add some, text explaining what you are doing. So I will say this is an example of a comment. So this is a comment. What it means is that if I remove the hashtag, it is going to show me errors here. The only way I can avoid that error is for me to put quotation at the beginning and at the end. So he sees this as a string. He sees as a string. But I don't actually want a string. I want a situation whereby I have this written in my cell, but I don't want it to be executed. That means when you run it, it's going to ignore this whole statement. Why? So this is an example of A. Is that it helps you because it's connected to Google Gemini. Okay, so it gives you auto completion. It suggests text to you. In my own screen, it already tells me what it believes that I want to do. So what do I want to do? I want it to print out like a message, welcome message to the user. I want it to say hello to the user. I want it to take the name of the user. And then after taking the name of the user, I want it to also get the age. So I'll say, hello, name. You say age. I will explain this at the end. Age, years old. Let's see what is happening here. This is a bit, complicated, but let's see. So here what function are we using here? What's this function? The print function. And then we've added this letter F, which is a convention. I've talked about syntax. It's the grammar of Python, where if you want to receive custom information, you start with this F string, F format, and then you now continue with quotation marks. Here we have name inside this curly bracket. By the way, the curly bracket is after the letter P on the Windows keyboard. Okay, it's close to the square bracket before the backslash, almost on top of the enter key. Okay, a lot of people find that difficult to locate. So this is the curly bracket, and we are going to come across this curly bracket in coming days. So do we have an idea of what this is going to print out for us? Can anybody guess?
Okay,
Yes.
so it's going to print hello, then the name.
You are 72 years old.
Okay, so what it
Then
means is
your
that,
age.
what you are saying is, if I run this, it's going to say, hello, Peter, you are 72 years old. And it got that message from this cell here. So if I cell and it says hello, and okay, maybe because I've run this cell before, it's giving me, let me all of this. Let me take all of this. Let me copy this, put it in a new cell, and add this line to it. I want everything to be in the same. It's definitely going to ask me questions for my name and my age. Okay, sorry, I was disconnected. Can you hear me now again?
Yes, please reshare your screen.
So let's go back to, I don't know the point at which you lost connection, but I can revisit what I did earlier on. Can you hear me? So it will wait for me to put a name. So if I put a name and I call that name Francis, and then it says, what's your age? And I say 46. Okay. And then maybe I come here again. Let me say my name is Bello, for instance. How old are you? 32. It's going to say to me, let me scroll down. It's going to say to me, hello, Bello, you are 32 years old. So I want to be sure that you're able to demonstrate this. And even if you are unable to demonstrate that, I can copy that code to help everyone. Go to the charts, because it's always cool if you are able to run your code and you see the output. So at the barest minimum, copy and paste this code, run it, put your name and your age, and see it give you an output. Let me give you 2 minutes break. So we'll have 2-3 minutes break, and then I'll continue. Let me turn off my camera and ask you to be creative. You can create 4 variables, okay? You can create name, gender, country, profession. 4 variables, all on the same line. Yeah, go on. Go on. I didn't hear you. I didn't hear. Take again. Say it again. Jeffrey, did you hear him? Hello?
Sorry, I missed that.
You didn't hear him, right?
No, I didn't hear him.
Wow. Okay. So let's take 2-3 minutes break, but just stretch your legs. Let's take 2-3 minutes break. I'll be back in 2 minutes, in 3 minutes. 3 minutes. 3. Thank you.
Well,
Yoma. Somebody open door for me.
My screen.
All right. Okay. Go on. Can I go on? Okay. Let me send so you can go to your email. Yes, I think I should be able to send. Just give me a minute or two. Let me send my file to everybody. Yeah. Or maybe I can. Can I put it in the chat? Let me see if I can.
Dr. Peter, if I can quickly ask a question.
Yeah, go on, please. Go on.
Yeah, in the command line or the code that you sent to the chat, I think there's a syntax error there.
Yeah.
At the third line, print.
Okay.
Before the hello, there's an F there. What's that F doing there?
Okay, good. So
I bet decline Jare. I do two class.
Yeah, Kelly accessible. Please, you need to mute your mic. I'll answer your question. Don't worry. I want to see how I can send this file to everyone now. Maybe I send to the tech team, and so that everybody gets. Should I go to the email or what? Okay. Yeah. So download today 9:23. Heritage, you can help me put this file attached to the Zoom, or I don't know, the what's it called, YouTube. Can we see the file I've just loaded? Hello? Yes. So to save us time, I have this file that I want us to upload. We are all going to demonstrate it. We'll upload it. Let's also put it in the YouTube live so that others can, enjoy it. Let me share my screen, answer the question that was asked, and then we'll now look at how to continue with the file that I've sent, because sometimes you might need to write on a file that's already existing. So what was the question? The question was that what is this F doing here? Very good question. So the F helps us to accept whatever name or whatever age is written. If I don't use this F, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If I don't use this F, which is accompanied by these curly brackets, we can only accept one individual's name. So we can ask it to print for us, say for instance, print Peter, you are, say, 30 years old. But that's not useful to us because we want hundreds and thousands of users to put in their details and receive a response. So rather than write Peter here, we want to write the variable. And we also want to write the variable age. But you can see that both of them are still seen as strings. They are not seen as variables. But the moment I put my F here, and I now put curly bracket around name, you will see that the name will gray out, which means that that name is no longer a value or text, is now the variable. So this name here is going to search for this variable. And this age here is going to set for this variable. So in short, it's a convention, okay? So we say the F there is formatting. Makes it easy for it to receive as many individuals that attempt to answer that question. Okay, so I sent something to us and I want to use it. How do I use it? I can go to File. If you have seen that file that I sent, you should download it to your system. So if I go to File, I can, or better still, let's just go to Collab and start afresh. So go open a new tab like we did at the start. Do Google Colab. Remember this is easy. And I said to you that in your own case, it might not be the first link that you will see. But for me, it's the first link. This should be easy for everyone. We are not creating a new notebook. We want to open a Colab notebook because I've sent you that. So if you click on Open Colab, it's going to search for it and ask you, where can I get it? I should do this again, right? Should I do this again? Somebody was saying something. I can do that again. I can.
Yes,
actually,
please do it again.
Stop this and go back.
Check your network, sir. It's bad.
Dr. Peter, we can't hear you. Check your connection, please.
Hello, sir. We can no longer hear you, sir. I can no longer hear anyone. I don't know if this is my network or...
Let's go ahead and ask questions while we wait for him to come back. We have people who can attend to specific questions based on what he has taught us so far. So let's ask questions, and then let's also try to open the Python notebook he has shared with us.
Sorry, where can we find the Python notebook that he shared with us?
The Python notebook was shared on the chat. So I can re-upload it to the chat. That's on the Zoom chat. Okay. We're also trying to put it on the Google Drive for us to share for people who are on the YouTube right away. So please, let's access it and try to upload it to our Google Drive and open it.
Wow.
Okay,
Hello.
Dr. Peter, you're welcome back.
Yeah,
We lost you for some moments.
Sorry, and thank you, Prof. Thank you, Dr. Ibe, for contacting me. I think some people want me to repost that material.
Go ahead and do that.
Okay, good. So I can now, let me repost that. Yeah, great. I hope we are making progress and learning one or two things. Yes, so I already put that there. The next thing is to share my screen. If you have made it this far, you are okay. We've done the basics. In fact, let me tell you that the rest is just to build on top of what we have seen now. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen? Hello?
Yes, we can, sir.
Am I out?
Yes.
You can see my screen.
Yes, we can see. Yes, we can
see it.
Brilliant. So I want us to load the notebook I sent to us so that we'll work faster and do some very interesting stuff. So what is it that I said I would do? I said I'll open a new tab, go to Google Colab. We've done this a couple of times today, so this should be easy for us. The first link, we'll click on it, and then it gives us two options. We either open a new notebook or open a Colab, but we open Colab. What this means is that you're trying to open a file that is in your system, okay? So it could be in your GitHub. We'll talk about GitHub maybe next week. It could be in your G Drive, but I want to upload from my system. So I'm going to browse, look for where it is on my system. In my own case, I think is in my downloads. I think it should be in my downloads. And that's that file. So you click on that file. Once it captures it in this window, then you click open. What you have done, if you succeed in doing this, is that I've sent a file to you from my system. I dropped it in the, what do we call it? In the chat. And you have taken it from the chat to your own Colab. However, this file is not yours. If you work on this file and you close your system, whatever you have done on this file will be lost. Everything will be lost since it's not your file. If you look through the file, you'll see that it's the work that we have done so far.
Sorry, Dr. Peter, what's the name of the file?
The file is comp_neuro_training.
Okay. Thank you.
It's in, yeah, it should be on your downloads somewhere. Now, a quick thing about that, this file.
Sorry, hello, sir. It's showing error while downloading it, while uploading it into my Colab.
While downloading it, right?
Yeah, okay. Showing error while uploading into my
While
Colab.
uploading it, yes. Same here.
Okay, let me try.
Jason.
Let me try some. Don't worry, let me try something. I think this is 300 and something. I'm coming. 300 and something. I hope so. Let me see. Okay, let me attach it to the email that I sent to us last. We always find a way around these things. So so maybe it's because it's through Google the link. So go and check your, what do you call that now? Your inbox. And when you get your inbox, download it. I hope I'm correct. Is there an attachment? Has anybody checked it? Please, I want to be sure.
That was not dropped, sir.
It didn't drop, right? Okay, let me stop my screen and do it here, and that's what I can.
Not yet.
Okay, don't worry. Okay, just give me 2-3 minutes. I'll do that. I've stopped sharing my screen, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you have.
Good. So just give me a moment. Since we're having issues with that, I don't know how the guys on YouTube are going to get this, but we'll just try our best. So we'll copy.
No, it has been shared.
Oh, brilliant. Brilliant.
It has been shared as a Google Drive file. So the link has been shared with those people online. Maybe I should also paste, let me paste the link also on the chat, if that's faster for people to also pick it there.
Hello, sir. I think the link works for me so well, so I don't have any problem with it.
Okay.
Okay. It works for you, right? Brilliant. Brilliant. Okay, so let's see. Compose. Yeah. So it's going to come to everybody. Don't worry.
Okay, I didn't receive. I haven't received my mail.
Yeah. Just a moment. You get it in your. You get it in like a minute.
You can try the link in the chat and let's know if you are able to work with that.
Okay.
Resend the link to the chat.
Yeah, there's a link that is just posted to the chat. Now you can try that out.
Yeah, don't worry about the time we are spending, because in the end, once we have that file, it makes our work a lot easier. Okay.
Please, can you resend the link to the chat?
Don't worry.
Okay.
If you check your
you have it
email,
already again on the chat.
Yeah. So is there in YouTube? Is there in the chat? Is there in your email? Everybody can get it now. Thank you very much, Prof.
I'll find it.
Yeah, just be patient to come into your email. You'll get it in your email. If somebody gets it
on the
email,
YouTube,
let me know, please.
You also have it on the.
You've seen it in the email, right?
Awesome. Okay.
Okay, cool. So the rest.
Yes, I have it now.
Okay, perfect.
Great. All right. So I can share my screen and demonstrate how to open it again. Okay? It's what doing again and again. So let me share my screen. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Can you see my screen?
Yes,
good. So I said you open a new tab and then you do Google Colab. Pick this link. All you are trying to do is to get your file. Don't use new notebook. Use Open Colab. If we can mute, I think that echo will vanish. So I said, when you get here, you go to upload. From upload, you browse for it. If it's in your document, you get it there, but mine is inside my downloads.
Sorry, how do you come to
once
that?
You do that, okay, how do I get here, right?
Yes.
So did you get to this point?
Yes.
That person, did you get to this point? Can you see my screen? So you click on Open Colab. Click on Open Colab.
Yes, I've done that.
Click on Open Colab. If you do Open Colab, you can now click on Upload. Have you done that? Have you done upload? Or that fellow is no more there? Or am I the one that is no longer here? Am I still here? Okay,
yes.
I'm here.
Yes,
Yes, we are together.
So when you do upload, then you browse, you search for the way. You can always watch this video afterwards. We are gradually getting out of time, but we are still doing fine, sort of. Okay, so you now have this file. So what I said to us was that this file is my own file. Next week we'll talk about how to share files and how to work collaboratively. Then we'll enjoy the full benefit of this platform. But for now, you have to make a copy of this file. If you don't make a copy of this file, whatever you write on that file will not be retained after you have closed this session. You can mute. So if you go to hey, you can mute, please. You can mute. You can mute. Hello, please mute when you are not presenting. Hello. Okay, good. Brilliant. So so what am I saying? I'm saying this file is my own file that I've shared for to everyone. If you take that file and you do some work on it and you close this session or your internet vanishes for some time, then you will not have access to the work that you have done. So you need to make a copy for yourself. And how do you make a copy? You go to File, and then you say Save a copy in Drive. If you click on Save a copy in Drive, which is one option, you now have a copy of yours that you can manipulate. So if I click on Save in Drive, it will create a copy. That copy will open up in a new tab with a name that is similar to the name of the file, but with an additional text, which is copy of. I need to do that again. So what have I done? I've created a file that we want to use for the remainder of today so that work will be faster, so that you don't have to start writing code all over. And then I said, it's important for all of us to get it. Rather than share it here, which is an option, I chose to send it to you as a software, okay? Or, yeah, if you say, you can say that. So what I now said was that by the time you create this copy and you work on this copy, you will lose information when internet has disappeared. So what do? You go to File, Save a copy in Drive. If you click on Save a copy in Drive, it will take time and open a tab, and in that tab, you have copy of Comp Neuro _training. This is now your copy. So with this copy, you can continue writing, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this entire file. I'll run it line by line and then explain the content in the line. Hopefully, on your own before next lecture, you can check this file again, run it, see if there are issues, so that we can discuss those issues next week. So how do I run this? Yeah, go on.
Go on, throw those things outside, officer.
You need to
please
unmute.
Mute,
yeah, question.
please.
Yeah, go on. Go on. Go on. Any question? Okay. So I want to run the cells one after the other. So I run this cell. What is happening in this cell? This cell is instantiating a variable called name with a value eBay. It saves that. If I go to the next cell and I run, it will print out eBay. In the next line, next cell, so to say, we are creating multiple variables. The first variable is first underscore name. The other one is surname. If I print surname, it will capture just the second value. If I say print first name, comma, surname, so that it does not match the two like, it will do if I don't use the correct syntax or produce an error. This is what we call the comma separation. If you have heard of CSV files, comma separated values. We'll talk about that maybe sometime down the line. So if I run this line, it prints out my name, and I'm sure it's printing out my name everywhere, okay, in Chile, in Brazil, wherever. And that's the beauty of Collab. We can all run these things. If if I share this with us, it will be an amazing, experience. Okay, so this is a text. This is a text file. So all you need to do is press Shift and Enter. When you press Shift and Enter, it runs that cell. Coming to this cell, we have two variables. The first one is a name variable which accepts text. And by the way, here we talked about 4 types of variables: strings, integers, floats, and booleans. But we said because we're expecting a number here, we had a function called int. So if you run this line of code, because of this input function, it will ask you for your name. So let's say my name is Sally, and I press enter, it will say, how old are you? Let's say Sally is 21. Then it takes that in, because all that I'm doing at this point is taking in variables. But what if I want to format it and make it dynamic? I can now add this F string, and by the time I add that F string, it's going to say, hello, Sally, you are 21 years old. Then we said we can bring everything into the same, cell, 3 lines of code in one cell. By the way, I can, hide that. Out. So I lost connection again, and we should be done in like 10 minutes now. Can you still hear me?
Yes, sir. Can hear you now.
Sir. We can hear you, yes.
Yeah, we're almost done. I think a lot of people might have migrated to
Yes, sir.
YouTube Live. Okay, so where are we? So since you all have the code now, let's say my name is James, and then it says, how old are you? And I answer that question and all of that. Let me allow you to load again. Let me allow you to load, see why it's delaying me. By the way, when your code is still running and loading, it will give you this gray option here. Okay, when it's fully loaded, it will turn to this, you call this orange color and all of that. By the way, because this cell is really taking my time and we don't have much time anymore, I can actually delete mine, but that will not affect yours. Okay, that will not affect yours. So these are the pre-written code that I had before. First, I can we are talking about variables and data types, and we said that there are 4 data types, and we have seen this. What you have here is very important. The moment you put this in quotation marks, then this text will appear in the output. But when it is not in quotation marks, then it's the variable. So what you are going to have here is neuron type, and it's going to give us, pyramidal cell. Then here is going to write resting potential, that is string, and then it will look for what the string is, and then it will say it is minus 70.0, then add the millivolts. Then the last one will be, this is a boolean, as is excitatory, true or false. So let me run this line of code, hoping that you on your own replicate these things and make sense of it as we gather, next week. Another data type, which we'll quickly talk about, is lists. Okay, so it's not every time that you have just a single value. For instance, I can create a variable called fruit, and then I can now have what you call array in other programming languages. So I can have apples. I can go ahead and have another, say, oranges. And maybe let me add one more, say berries. So what is it that we have here? We have a variable called fruits. And inside that variable, we have, 3 examples. It could be more. But in Python, we start counting from 0. So this fruit occupies the position 0, berries occupies position 2. I hope that makes sense. Am I making sense? Am I making sense?
It's not clear, sir. It's not.
It's not clear. Okay, so if I add one more and say I add mangoes, you will see that what we are saying here is that on the left we have a variable and we are using square bracket. When you use square bracket, you are talking about list. How many things are inside this list? How many items? There are 4 items. So if I ask that I should print out, for instance, fruits, what I'm going to have is all of the values: apples, oranges, berries, and mangoes, because I asked it to print out fruits. But if I change my mind and I want to get the first item, I could say print fruits. The first item occupies the position 0. That's the point I'm trying to make. If I run this line of code, it's going to give me apples. If I change this 0 to 2, it is going to give me berries. So apples is position 0, oranges is position 1, and berries is position 2. Another way of getting everything is to just ask it to print fruits and then put my square bracket, and inside the square bracket I can put this symbol, which is like a colon. If I run this, it will give me everything. So this brings me to a concept called slicing. Okay, we are recording this. The slicing helps us to pick chunks of our variable. For instance, if I write fruits with or without print, and I do square bracket and then do 1:3, what is going to happen is it's going to go over these fruits. It will not pick apples. Why won't it pick apples? Because apples is in position 0. So it will start from oranges and then continue but not get to the end. If I run this line of code, which will make us understand what I'm trying to say, you know that there are 4 items here. This is in position 0, this is in position 1, this is in position 2, and this is position 3. So you take oranges and berries. We are going to do more of this next week. But all I wanted you to see was that this structure here, which we call spike times, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 values. So if I come under here and I say print bracket spike underscore times, and I put square bracket and I do 2:5. For those of you that understand what I did earlier on, what will happen is it will look for the variable called spike times, go in there, and then look for the value that is in position 0. It won't pick that. It will go to position 1. It won't pick that. It will start from position 2 and continue, but it won't get, in this particular examples, we don't have up to 5. So I can as well go and add more values there. But because of lack of time, I can simply say, just give me the value in position 2. And when I run that code, I have an error here, which is good. Why? Because when you run a cell before instantiating the variables, notice I've not run this previous cell. So it doesn't know what spike times is. So if it comes here, it tells you, I don't know spike underscore times. So what do? We come in here, run this cell, That way, he knows what spike times is about. And by the time you come here and ask it, what is it occupying the second position? He says it's the one that has the time 45.6. Next week, we'll continue with this file just to complete the idea of the different, preliminary things that we need to learn. Just a few more concepts, control flow and functions. When we start using NeuroMatch material, then we'll talk about libraries. 2 minutes to the end of my presentation. Please permit me. Everyone is here. If I go forward, so don't forget that there were times that we were missing out, of internet and all of that. This will be your assignment. It will be that everyone should just go and check the NeuroMatch documentation, which will help us next week. I can't place my hand on that assignment now. I can't place my hand on that assignment. Let me just conclude by doing this. You can do this with me. 60 seconds, no, 120 seconds, I'll be done. Just do this with me. Open a new tab, and type NeuroMatch Academy. Okay? We are using this resource to, next Saturday and the Saturday after. Go to NeuroMatch Academy, click on this link, or if you like, not on that link. Let me just click on the right link. NeuroMatch Academy, Computational Neuroscience. I can share the link with everybody so that will not waste our time. So let me share this link in the chat. We'll be done. Sorry for the extra time that we are taking. So we'll go to the chat. We'll paste this there. So go to NeuroMatch Academy. By the way, the guys at NeuroMatch are excited. They believe that we are covering a gap that is there, where students are, invited to attend courses, and they're expected to have some Python, requirement, skills. That's what we are trying to do with our program. So once you're able to open this, you guys, it is expected that before joining the academy, which is in July, you are supposed to have gone through these Python workshops, workshop 1 and workshop 2. So next week, we'll start looking at this workshop 1. Let me click on that workshop 1, and let's move to the notebook. If you can follow this, watch the video later, it will work for you. Once you get to this page, you can open in Colab. Just the way we open in Colab then. If you open in Colab, you have week 0, day 1. You have to now have your own copy by saving a copy in Drive. If you don't save a copy in Drive, at the end of the day, you will not be able to recover whatever work you have done on it. So I end by saying,
sorry, sir, can you come again?
Do this again, right?
Yes,
yeah. I was conscious of time. So what did I do? I went to Computational Neuroscience. NeuroMatch Academy. Then I opened this website, and I went down. I've sent the link to us, and I said you're expected to know some of these things before starting the academy. The academy, by the way, is in July next year. So I said you click on this day 0 workshop, week 0, day 1, and I said you move on to the next until you get to this tutorial. You can open in Kaggle. You can also open in Colab, but we want to open in Colab. I said to you that if you open in Colab, you are going to have a file that is inside the NeuroMatch GitHub repo, which will not do you good. So you go to File and you save a copy in Drive. If you can't do this, we'll do it next week. Let me stop here to invite Dr. Ibe and Prof to wrap up the meeting. Sorry for the extra time that I took. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Peter, for your wonderful presentation. I believe we can give some thumb up for the presenter. He has done a great job tonight. Let's react. Let's use some emojis to appreciate him. You can even put messages in the chat. You can put messages in the chat. What's your thoughts? What's your feedback about what we have done today? You can type a message. If you are to summarize in just one word, how will you summarize your experience today? Maybe briefly, just type that in the chat. If you are just to summarize in just one word your experience today, what would that one word be? You can just drop that one on the chat very quickly, and I will just take maybe the first two or the first three that will come in. Meanwhile, while we do that, let me appreciate everyone for the wonderful patience that we have exhibited even this evening. I see that we still have almost 100 persons on the call. That is quite encouraging. And I want to say specifically, let's endeavor to follow this through. We have started well. I want us to follow through. This time next week also we'll be coming around together, and we are building on the foundation we have laid today. Also in 2 weeks' time, we'll be concluding this series by God's grace. And I'm hoping to see each and every one of you. If there are any technical glitches we experience today, we'll also try to work at our own end to ensure we address some of them before next week, all things being equal. Having said that, I would love to quickly mention, Dr. Peter mentioned that earlier, and I would also love to mention briefly. The platform we are using is made possible courtesy PHET, P-H-E-T. You could see it on a poster. PHET stands for Physics Education Technology, and it's a project at the University of Colorado, Boulder in USA. PHET was an initiative of a Nobel laureate by the name Carl Wieman. He won a Nobel laureate in the year 2001. And the fund he got from that, he used to establish what is known as PHET. The initial concept was to actually have physics education technology. But over the years, the whole idea covers every aspect of STEM, including biology. And I'm glad to mention to you that this initiative has actually produced billions of simulations to enhance teaching of STEM. I mean science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, okay? Which I believe Computational we are looking at falls within this. And so I will just drop the link for today. Maybe by next week, we'll have opportunity of exhibiting some of the things we can benefit from that. But I will drop the link on the chat right away for us to actually visit the website. You can actually register as an educator and then see what you can benefit from. It's actually an embodiment of resources that can enhance your capacity as a scientist, as an engineer, as somebody who is into technology. And I believe we will actually have the opportunity to actually explore and know more about it even as we go on. Part of the comment I'm seeing here says, impactful. I'm glad to attend. Thank you so much. We also appreciate you for your presence, and we are hoping to see you come next week. I don't know if Dr. Ibe is there. Any comment from your hand? Do we have Jeffrey there? If you are there, comments, a quick round-up notes. Okay.
Yes. Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Peter. It was a wonderful presentation, I must say that. And thank you, participants. I know by next week, this is just the starting. Next week, you're going to get more experience. I think you appreciate it. Thank you so much for all of you for coming. Thank you, Professor Akinola, for everything you have done, for your contributions and everything. We appreciate you all. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. Thank you. Jeffrey, are you there? Any comment for the participants? Any encouragement?
Oh, yes, I'm here. So, I mean, thank you for the presentation by Dr. Peter. It was very enlightening, concise, and delivered with great brevity for sure. My advice to everyone who's plugged into this initiative is to take the time to practice as much as you can. Take the time to try out different variables, try to break something in terms of try to have an error and figure out why that error is happening. That's where you build the muscle to really problem solve and leverage the tool for whatever task you need to use it for. But this is a great start. You have to keep up the work in your own personal time and integrate it into your day-to-day so that it almost becomes like second nature. Hopefully we'll see you on the next call for sure.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Do we have Heritage there? Any comment from you? Heritage, are you there on the call? Okay. So, in the absence of any other comments, I want to say,
yes, sir, I'm sitting there, sir.
Okay. Then a quick comment from you.
Okay, so thank you so much, everyone, for joining us tonight. We definitely hope that you join us next week for the remaining part of the conference of the training. I really appreciate your presence here. Thank you so much, and have a great evening, a wonderful day, and a wonderful weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, Heritage. God bless you. So, in the absence of any other comments, I know we exhausted our time today. Hopefully next week we'll have more opportunity to be able to ask questions. But the whole idea is to actually make this thing hands-on. And just like Jeffrey said, please try your hands on this. Get errors. That is actually part of the coding. If you are coding and you are not getting error, you have not actually started. And like Jeffrey said, getting error is part of the whole process. Are you getting me now? So don't be scared when it gives you lines of error. Try to figure out what you have done wrong, and then I believe over the time we'll get better and then they become experts in this field. God bless you. Do enjoy the rest of your evening. As you sign in, you can just drop a word on that for us, just a word, an emoji. We'll still wait on the call to see some of the comments you will pass. And those of you on the YouTube, you can also drop a word on the chat for us to tell us how you feel about it. I've already seen some of the comments, wonderful ones, helpful, awesome. People are clapping. So we hope to continue in this spirit and get better even as we move on. God bless you, and do enjoy the rest of your evening, enjoy the rest of your day, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon, irrespective of which part of the world you are connecting from. God bless you, and good night.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, thank you so much.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Bye.
Bye. Great. Nice.
Bye. Thank you very much. God bless you.